Hi everyone. Today I'll be looking at Miles Davis's solo on the tune All Blues. Davis's solo begins 1 minute 45 seconds into the tune and is played over 4 repeats of the following progression, which is essentially a standard blues in G with an added dominant 7th chord on the flattened submediant. The dominant on the flattened submediant is more typical of a minor blues, but its presence here contributes to the modal possibilities contained within the head's tune. These modal possibilities include G minor or G Aeolian, which is suggested by the inclusion of the E flat note, here harmonized as a dominant 7th chord, G mixolydian, the mode suggested by the G dominant 7th chords of the progression. G Dorian can be suggested if the notes of a G minor 7th chord are emphasized instead of the notes of a C dominant 7th chord over the 2 bars of C7 subdominant harmony. Emphasizing the notes of a C dominant 7th chord through the same bars produces C mixolydian. Because both G Dorian and C mixolydian are modes of F major, the 2nd and 5th respectively, these modal options are already present in the move to chord 4 of the All Blues progression. In this way, the All Blues progression can potentially be united by 3 modes, all with G finals. During the playing of the head, some of these possibilities are implied by the rhythm section and trumpet melody, more so than during Davis's solo. In terms of choices for improvisation, therefore, the All Blues progression may be approached in a number of ways. As we'll see, however, during his solo, Davis's note choices are essentially drawn from only 2 main scales. The first of these scales is the G composite blues scale. The composite blues scale is a 9-note scale which can be thought of as a combination of 2 blues scales whose root notes are a minor third apart. The G composite blues scale, for example, comprises notes from the G blues scale and the E blues scale. Because the G composite blues scale contains both the notes B flat and B natural, it can be used to outline the tonic and subdominant harmonies through bars 1 to 8 and 11 and 12 of the progression. The G composite blues scale also contains the G mixolydian mode, the G Dorian mode, the C mixolydian mode, and as we've seen with the addition of an E flat note, the G Aeolian mode. In this way, the G composite blues scale is a versatile choice for improvisation, as all of the modal possibilities contained in the head are present in this scale. Through each repeat of bars 1 to 8 and 11 and 12 of Davis's solo, his note choices are all derived from this scale. The only exceptions occur here, where an E flat can be heard as an anticipation of Davis's scale choice, which he uses over bars 9 and 10 of the progression, and here, where an E flat note is again used and can be heard as a decoration of the note G. The rhythm and melodic shape of this decoration is derived from motifs found in the head's tune, a topic I will discuss later in this video. The note E flat can also be found in the C composite blues scale, a scale which shares 7 notes with the G composite blues scale. Through each repeat of the C dominant 7th harmony in bars 5 to 6 of the progression, Davis's note choices can also be derived from this scale, although only here does the inclusion of an E flat note coincide with these bars. The second main scale, or in this case mode, which Davis uses throughout his solo, is the D superlocrian mode. The superlocrian mode is the 7th mode of the melodic minor scale. Through each repeat of bars 9 to 10 of his solo, Davis's note choices can all be derived from this scale. The only exceptions occur here, where the C sharp can be heard as an incomplete lower neighbour note to D, here, where the C sharp can be heard as a decoration of the note F. As with the earlier E flat decoration of G, the rhythm and melodic shape of this decoration is derived from motifs found in the head's tune and will be discussed later. And here, where this G natural is an anticipation of the G notes found in the following bar. Despite Davis drawing on only 2 scales for his solo's note choices, The melodic and rhythmic components of a solo draws heavily from the melodic shapes and rhythms of the trumpet melody in the head's tune. These rhythmic and melodic motifs can be divided into two categories: those which are drawn directly from the head's tune, and those which are not found in the head, but may be based on those that are or may be newly composed. The first motif Davis takes from the head is the ascending leap of a major sixth. During the head, Davis plays this motif 5 times. Each time the major sixth interval occurs between the notes D and B, and each time the rhythm of the initial D note is identical while the B note's rhythm varies. Through a solo, the ascending major sixth is used here between the notes B flat and G, and here between D and B. As with the major sixth leaps found in the head, in each of these instances the rhythm of the initial note is identical while the value of the second note varies. Another motif Davis takes from the head is the upper neighbour note of either a major or minor second. During the head, this motif uses several rhythmic combinations. Here, for example, it consists of a minor second interval between the notes B and C and uses a dotted 16th note, 32nd note, quarter note rhythmic combination. Here, it is again a minor second between the notes B and C, but uses a 16th note triplet rhythm. Here it is a major second between the notes C and D and uses a quarter note, 8th note, quarter note rhythmic combination. Here it is again a minor second interval between the notes A and B flat. Across these bars it uses a dotted half note, dotted quarter note rhythmic combination. Finally, here it is again a major second between the notes A and B natural and uses dotted quarter notes. Through his solo, the upper neighbour note motif is used in the following bars. In these instances, Davis uses the triplet motif, while the others use different intervallic and rhythmic combinations. During the solo, along with its use with the upper neighbour note motif, the triplet is also used as a rhythmic motif. Here it leaps between the notes D and G, and here it's used as a stepwise connection between the notes E and B. Davis also varies the triplet rhythm, a topic I'll discuss in the following section. Another motif Davis takes from the head is the use of a sustained pitch, which is typically tied and ends with a shorter note. Through the solo, this motif can be found on different pitches and using different note values. It also sometimes ascends rather than descends. Another rhythmic motif taken from the head is the use of a shorter note value, which is either preceded by a rest or follows a longer note, which then leaps to a higher note. I've already discussed this motif in relation to the ascending major sixth, however it is also used in the head here, where a minor second ascends. Although during the head the initial note of this motif is only used on the final beat of a bar, with the upper note then following at the beginning of the next, through the solo, along with these locations, this motif is used on a number of different beats and also outlining a number of intervals. The discussion of these variants is best left until the next section of this video. However, we have already seen how a number of rhythmic and melodic motifs are used as a basis for much of the solo's content. Through modification of these motifs and the introduction of a few more, the whole of the solo's content can be accounted for. As mentioned previously, during the solo, the rhythm and melody of the ascending leap motif is varied. Along with the major sixth, the solo also includes leaps of an ascending major seventh, perfect fifth, perfect fourth, minor third, major second, and a descending perfect fifth. As you can see, this motif is now found on a number of different beat locations, although the essential component of a short note leaping to a longer note is always present. Throughout the solo, Davis begins to develop this motif by connecting leaps together. Here, for example, after a perfect fourth leap, the melody returns to the initial D note before leaping a major sixth to B. And here, several perfect fourth leaps are connected. Through the solo, the upper neighbour note motif is also developed. Along with the stepwise movement found in the original motif, during the solo, Davis includes a number of larger intervals between the lower notes and the upper neighbour note. Here, for example, a minor third is used, and here a major third. Here, a minor third and minor second is used. This modification, where the initial note does not return, is also used with different note values and can be seen as a further development of the upper neighbour note motif. Here, for example, a major second and minor third are used, while here a major second and major third. These are also examples of Davis combining two different motifs. Here the sustained pitch tied to a shorter note value, which here ascends rather than descends, is combined with a leap to the note B to create a modified upper neighbour note motif, and here the ascending leap motif is combined with a move to E flat, again creating a modified upper neighbour note motif. The E flat and C sharp decorations I mentioned in the first section of this video can also be heard as modifications of or examples of original motifs from the head. I just discussed the inclusion of this E flat here in the modified upper neighbour note motif, and this E flat and C sharp are examples of the ascending leap motif. Here the leap from and return to the F is reminiscent of these examples from the head. There is often several ways of describing the motivic construction of the solo. For example, this F-C sharp F combination could also be heard as a modified descending lower neighbour note, which, although not present in the head's tune, can be created through motivic modification. It would be too cumbersome to discuss every possible combination and derivation of these lines. However, it should be clear that Davis has based much of his solo on motifs contained in the head's tune. Several motifs which are not found in the head but which are used extensively throughout the solo include the repeated G note motif, which can be heard in various rhythmic combinations, and the use of arpeggiated triads. Along with the more overt use of triads, such as here where a G minor triad is used as an anticipation of the subdominant harmony in bar 5, or here where a G major triad completes the modified upper neighbour note motif, or here where a second inversion G major triad completes this line before the change of harmony in the following bar. There are several instances where Davis's triadic use is less obvious. Here, for example, a G major triad anticipates the return of G7 harmony in bar 11, however, coming at the end of this line over a change of harmony and with its fifth and third degrees connected by a C passing note, its presence is less obvious. And here where three different arpeggios, A minor, F major 7th, and D minor 9th can all be found in this line, the use of rests and motifs, however, make these arpeggios less noticeable. One final figure from the head, which although not fully developed as a motif during Davis's solo, is the stepwise scale figure. Originally it's used here over subdominant harmony in bars 5 and 6, where its contour can suggest several modes of F major. During the solo, Davis uses parts of the scale figure with the D superlocrian mode to outline the harmony in bars 9 and 10 of the progression. Here, for example, the contour and rhythm is very similar to the contour and rhythm found in bars 5 and 6 of the head. Here, only a descending fragment is used. Here, only a partial descent, and here, only a partial initial ascent is used. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.